Good morning, everybody. I am just setting up. Sorry, I had to move my computer screen, so I just want to make sure that it's going to be all perfect. There we go. If you can let me know if you hear me correctly, where you're from, that would be awesome. Then I can know that it's coming through correctly. So my name is Angie, and I'm just going to start off by saying at one point, I felt so lost, so confused, so broken, um, just from different experiences in life. And I'm sure we can all relate to this on some level, whether it's yourself or whether you've seen somebody go through this. But this is what I liken it to, is I felt like I had cinder blocks attached to my ankles, and they were chained, locked, and I was in the middle of the ocean trying to keep my head above water. So I was struggling. I was really struggling. I didn't know what to do. Sorry, I just had a message up here. Oh, no, I don't need to listen to that. Never mind. All good. So I felt completely lost, alone, and I'm going to delve a little bit into my history and then tell you about me and how to go about this. What we're going to be covering is finding you after relationship loss, especially now in the holiday season. So when I was 17, my 15-year-old sister passed away. In our family, there was my mom, my dad, and there was 4 of us. And at 15, my sister, we did so many things together. In fact, anybody, like cousins, friends, they always said, oh, let's go to Angie and Ramona's. Ramona was my sister. And so it was just like that. We were so close. And I'm not saying we didn't fight, but, typical stuff. So my sister passed away at 17. And as you can imagine, that devastated our family. She was in a car accident, but she lived a month past that and died from multiple brain aneurysms. And she didn't come out of a coma from that. So it devastated her family. I became the mediator, wanting to keep everybody at an even level. We didn't talk about anything. We just kind of pushed it under the rug. My mom and dad basically went into a work mode, and they did what they had to do to survive. We had a lot of support from friends, from our church family, but really as a family unit, we didn't go for counseling. Really, each and every one of us should have been in with a counselor directly after that. That's a lot of stuff to go through and keep bottled up. It keeps with you as you go into your further relationships, which fast forward into my marriage after graduating. A couple of years later, I was married. I was married at 20. You know what? In this day and age, that's really young to be married. You don't know who you are. At the best of times, never mind carrying along a trauma. Sorry, I'm going to back up one moment. In between the time of my sister passing away and getting married, I was raped at a party, and I believe that something was put into my drink, and really moments after that, I was non-coherent. Parts of that night I don't remember at all. So, and I was told that if I told anybody, that nobody would believe me, that I would just be named the party girl, and that's what it would be amounted up to. So carrying that along with the childhood trauma, going into marriage, and keep in mind that this person that had assaulted my body basically was in my small town. I even had to serve him at my job. So just all of these little things that while they are not little, it's all of these things that you pile up and take with you into your further relationships if you don't look after them. So going into marriage, had 3 children, love my children, but really the marriage was kind of what I thought I was supposed to do at the time. You know, growing up in a Christian family, you're supposed to get married, have kids, and then be this happy little family unit. Yeah, it wasn't really that. I mean, there was great times, but it wasn't. It didn't last, clearly. So about 5 years in, it really should have been over. However, then I wouldn't have my last daughter, and she is just. I love all my children, but my youngest and I have kind of the closest relationship, which is interesting because I ended up leaving my family when I left my husband and 3 children when my youngest was 6 months old. My oldest was about 9. My son was 6, I believe. So young family unit. However, that was a time at which I felt like I had those cinder blocks on me. I felt like I was existing. I wasn't living. There was zero passion in my life. And then I left. I moved to where I am right now, in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and tried to find out who this girl was. Well, it didn't happen right away. There was still a little bit more to happen to me yet. I did meet a man. We were together for about almost 6 years. Man, did we pack a lot in those 6 years. He always said what he lacked in talent, he would make up in enthusiasm. Very true. We lived more in those 6 years than many do in a lifetime. However, that too came to pass. He suddenly passed away. It was October 3rd that he passed away in 2010. I was 38, pretty young for a widow. There's people that have other stuff going on in their lives too, but for me, this was a pretty huge shock. It turned out he had meningitis. So within the period of a day and a half, he went from being fine to deathly ill and passing away on the way from one hospital to the next. So you take all of these life events and you figure, holy cow, it's a lot to happen. However, there was some pretty monumental life lessons that I found out through each of these experiences. Right from the very beginning, right from my sister passing, I believed that I wasn't going to blame anybody per se. People had asked me, oh, why did God let this happen to you? Why would he take somebody so young? Or why, just why? Well, you know what, we're not always meant to know all the answers why, and maybe not in the time frame that we want them to be in our lives. You learn how to get up from each of those knocks in life. It's not important how many times you're knocked down. It's important how many times you get back up. You embrace each of those emotions that you go through when these things happen to you. Life is a series of unexpected events. I've always said my crystal ball is broken. And you know what? If we had a crystal ball, we inevitably would try to change what we would be seeing if it did not align with what we thought was supposed to happen. So crystal ball really does no good. So we have to learn to adapt and to learn healthy ways to, I guess, react to our circumstances. We all have stuff going on. We've all had horrible things happen to us. while seeing terrible things happen to other people. And sometimes we see this completely broken person, and sometimes we see somebody that's, oh, we figure they've got it all together. The thing is, we see the outside. We see this embodiment of what we've figured is going on. We don't know what's going on inside that person's soul. A lot of people had said, I don't know how you keep it together. I don't know how you've gone through everything you've gone through and still have a smile on your face and are so positive. That's because I made a decision. I made a decision that what was happening to me was not going to ruin my outlook. One of the sayings that I've come across and I've used and I live by is you can either become bitter or you can become better. That means that you can allow your circumstances to completely rule your life in a negative way, or you can choose to find a positive in it. And I'm not saying that what happened to you is positive. Trust me, I don't want to think that I needed to have my sister pass away. I needed to go through divorce, carry the judgment of leaving my children. I mean, God, who leaves their 6-month-old? There was so much judgment I was carrying, but I had to deal with that. I had to look in my soul and find a way that I was going to not be dragged down and allow those cinder blocks to be the rest of my life. When that light bulb went on and I looked up and I said, this is the rest of my life? I'm like, no, it is not. I had to look at my surroundings. I had to look at the people that were around me at any given time. I remember my mom always saying, or criticizing the people that I would hang out with. And I had a very small circle of friends. And I learned to become very independent, which, it has served me in going forward in life. Just a sidebar, there was one time going to school in, your pivotal high school years, you want to be surrounded with all these friends and, oh, everything's so happy-go-lucky. You could not pay me to go back to those years. It was very lonely. I had 0 friends because my one friend at that time, my very close friend, decided she wanted to be part of the cool crowd. I wasn't cool, I guess. But that's okay. I learned that I was enough for me. And people say, oh, there's not enough space in the world to be more than one of you. That's true. You know what? And to get back to present time, I had to learn to surround myself with what I wanted my life to be like. Okay, so I don't want to be bitter. I don't want to be negative all the time. So what do I want? I want to be positive. How do I get to that point? I started filling my feed, filling my Facebook, filling my space, my friends, with positive people. I wasn't where I wanted to be in my workplace. So I started looking for people that were successful, or what I viewed as successful. I started searching out on YouTube motivational speakers, powerful female entrepreneurs. I felt there was a void when I left my partner, my husband at that time. There was a void, and I was very lucky. I think there was a guardian angel, or maybe a whole crew of them watching over me, because I think several times things could have gone very awry. I placed myself in some fairly precarious situations, and yet I'm here. I drove back and forth to see my children, despite my ex trying to prevent that, and falling asleep on the road. No accidents to be had. I've driven where I saw the wheel of my car go in front of me into the field. Quite comical now, not so comical at that time. Uh, Everything was fine and no accident, but again, I'm positive that there was a higher being watching out for this soul, because I believed that I had not gone through, and I still believe that I had not gone through everything that I had been through to not share my story. And that's what I want to bring home this morning. Bring home to you is that despite what you're going through, despite what relationship has gone in your eyes wrong, or what you're feeling at this time, and this time of year especially, because Christmas and New Year's is portrayed as such a family moment, and your family moment may not be what is portrayed on TV. It may not be this happy, wonderful, laughing, smiling time right now. You may have loved ones that are in the hospital, that are dying, that have passed away. You may be going through a relationship struggle right now. And I would encourage you to take hold of the people that are around you. If you don't know anybody, or if you perhaps are not experiencing anything like this right now, that you would search out those in your community that may be suffering, because you don't know what's going on inside those four walls, inside that body, that embodiment that is that you're seeing on the outer surface. While you see a smile on the outside, they could be crying and bawling and searching so desperately for a hug, for your hand to listen to them. Sometimes just listening. If we can stop long enough to just hear what somebody else is going through, that sometimes is the difference between that person going on and feeling completely lost and alone, to knowing that there's somebody out there that is actually hearing them. Not saying that it's going to be all okay, it's a bed of roses, but to get down on their level and listen to them. So my name is Angie Smith-Sinclair. I go by both. I am a relationship consultant. I put on local events for women without their spouses, without their children, so that they have a space, a safe space to come to share, get away from their everyday normal hustle bustle. I also organize women's holistic retreats. You know the saying that you get blinders when you're going through stuff? You need to separate yourself from it, at least for a little bit. Find your solace. And a holistic retreat, if that's in your ability to do, I welcome you to reach out to me to find out more on that, as well as the local events. If you're in and around the Winnipeg area, touch base with me. I can get you a link on how to be involved. We need to support each other. The holistic events are meant to be soul-centered, heart-centered, and a place for you to open up your vision for a 360 vision, so that you can see things a little bit more clearly. Because when you separate yourself from your circumstance, you can see things in a more clearer vision. If you would like to reach out to me at any time, I also welcome you to do that, whether to collaborate. If you're somebody that is suffering, if you are going through a rough time, or you know somebody that's going through a rough time, I encourage you to pass my name and my information along, or reach out to me and I can send you information. I have workbooks available as well. I would love to encourage you, if you're not experiencing a rough time right now, to have an open heart. The world needs more love these days. and be kind, because you don't know what that other person is going through. You don't know their financial situation, and it's really none of our business unless they choose to share it with us. I encourage you to be loving, be open to sharing your heart. In a very cynical world, we need more love. We absolutely need more love. It opens us up for hurt and heartache, suffering perhaps, but what's the alternative? The alternative is that you may have missed out on an opportunity to help somebody. You may have been that person that was simply looking for a smile, simply looking to feel welcome. If you have the ability to give them a meal, take them for coffee, do that. Be kind this Christmas season. And if you're experiencing loss, my heart goes out to you. And I truly wish you peace. Surround yourself, find all of the positivity that you can, because the more you listen to it, the more it will reach into your heart. Go to sleep with positive messaging, because while you may not think you're hearing it, your brain waves are taking that in. That is almost wrapping up my time for today. I truly wish you the best of this holiday season and going forward into the pivotal year of 2020. I truly think it's going to be beyond transformational for everybody going into this year. I wish you love. And that is all for me for today. I welcome your feedback. Please show me some love, show me some feedback, and I hope to talk to a lot of you real soon. Take care.